Well, greetings to my Leading with a Limp friends. Finished up today at our Tuesday lunch, kind of evaluation time. Good discussions. We talked about some simple questions like, why did you attend the first Leading with a Limp lunch? What drew you in? What were the reasons? All kinds of different reasons. Curiosity, self-improvement, needed to do a leadership thing, just wanted to be in a group, all different kinds of reasons. Why did you continue attending? Somebody said the food, which was pretty good. Have Jesse to thank for most of that, most of the meals. The conversation, the discussion, the honesty at the tables, learning from people with varied experiences or more experience than we had. Talked through all those kinds of things. We did talk about how the Leading with a Limp is a specifically biblical approach to leadership, and that you don't lead from strength, you lead out of your weakness and let God work with you to bring the strength that He brings. We don't try to make it up on our own. Realization we make mistakes along the way. We're all in need of God's help to heal our brokenness. And we just asked a simple question: how has that understanding of leadership helped you in your role in the workplace and at home? And I mentioned to the gathered group that it needs to happen both places. Workplace and home. Not just work, not just home and not work, but both places. We're learning, we're growing from a limping kind of position. And I mentioned again, I think I'd mentioned maybe 2/3 way through this experience, but it didn't dawn on me until I was about 2/3 way of the book, as I mentioned, that in my mind, my self-understanding of how the world works, I was still thinking that a leader had to lead from a position of strength. That I have to lead, I have to be right most of the time, I have to have the best ideas most of the time, and if I have to depend on other people too much, then I'm not a strong enough leader to get the job done. And I kind of gave that up because that's just not realistic, is it? Lead with a limp. You have weaknesses, you have brokennesses, you utilize the people around you, you utilize God's help and strength and power. Things. So we talked about how that's been working, helping us at work, helping us at home to be honest. And a little bit of the fear factor, well, if I'm really honest with people that I actually don't know and I have to get resources and have questions answered, people may think less of us, but hey, we find out everybody's clamoring to face the challenges in their life that they have. And being honest is very helpful for that. So we talked about that for a while. We also addressed a short question, and this is actually Dave's question. He fed in just kind of his personal experience and understanding of this book is, when I'm weak, then I am strong. That's a quote from the Apostle Paul, 2 Corinthians chapter 12. How many of you how are you experiencing the truth of this statement now? In other words, how have you realizing that when you're weak, you're actually strong? Nice table discussion about that. And one of the things we talked when we came back together as a group is that actually when we're weak and admit it, it moves us to strength. If we're weak and won't admit it and pretend we're strong, bad things are going to happen. And I actually gave the illustration of when we built a home back in 2002 over in Minnesota. And I had to do a number of things myself on the home to save money, to be able to do this, to build a home. And I had to put all the flooring down, both wood and ceramic tile. And I didn't know how to do it. And I knew I couldn't learn it from a book. I had to have somebody show me, and I had to go to a guy in church, Bob, who was a shop teacher who could do everything well, dealing with hands-on stuff. And I said, Bob, I need to lay some tile. Can you show me how to do it? I don't know how to do it. I admitted my weakness. Out of that, Bob came over. He didn't do it for me. He taught me how to do it. And I gained this new strength. I can lay tile floor. I can teach somebody else how to do it now. From weakness comes strength. We talked about how we're experiencing that right now in our lives at work and at home. Then we moved to a little bit more, well, not more significant, but a more important question for the purposes of our group. Our table discussions focused on honestly sharing our story with others. We did not incorporate any accountability into our table discussions. Are you interested in a leadership group that goes deeper by introducing accountability and using table talk time to address specific challenges that we're currently facing? In other words, are you interested in taking a step down, had good, honest discussions. That's way below the normal superficial talk that we do, talking about important things. But to let yourself be accountable and work on situations with others, that's a whole different level. Is that something you're interested in doing? So we talked about that. Got feedback from all the different groups. Some of the feedback had to do with, well, I don't know. Don't know if I'm ready for that yet, or I'd want to talk about what that would look like before I'd be willing to do that. Or there's just a general fear of being accountable to other people. May not have had an experience with that, or may have had a bad experience with that. That's often the case. So we float around some ideas about that. That will be helpful. Dave and I will get together and talk about the ideas that were floated. Then we asked, do you have a suggestion for next steps that we can make available to both continue to encourage and challenge you in your leadership roles? And we did this together as a group, so I'll just let you know what they were. Email out the class roster. So if we run into a situation that's hard and tough at work and we go, oh, I think it'd be great to talk to so-and-so about that, you've got their information. Scott Munger said, hey, I'd be interested in a small group that's more focused. Be willing to talk with people about that if they're interested. The suggestion was we need to offer something like this for leadership development, kind of a deep dive once a year to the church. And this is one you can actually help us with. Email us back book recommendations. Books that have been helpful for you, good about leadership. Let us know. And we talked about marketing the next class that we do, whatever that looks like, in a way that people know that you don't have to just be a owner of a big company to benefit from this. You can be a normal person going about your life and benefit from this. So my hope is that you've benefited from reading Leading with a Limp, and for most of our people today, it wasn't just the book, it was the talk at the table, the interaction, the honest conversations that were most helpful and most encouraging and most challenging, actually, to kind of keep us moving forward. So hopefully that was the case for you. I think it's safe to say, as I look at myself, I'm a pretty slow learner. It's taken me a long time to lead with the limp and know that that's what's happening and be comfortable with that, and to admit when I'm weak and ask for help and gain from other people's strength and God's strength. For me, it's been a slow learn. I'm making progress, and I hope that you are. There's great freedom that comes from not having to lead from a position of total, absolute strength, because nobody's there. We all limp. We all have weaknesses. We all have brokenness. And it's part of who we are, and actually God uses that to his great benefit when we're honest about it with him and then with other people. So I want to thank you for taking the time to be involved, read the book, do the table discussions, give us feedback. If you have any other thoughts or suggestions that come across your mind that would be helpful for Dave and I as we evaluate how can we continue to be helpful for leaders in the life of the church, please let us know. Email me, email Dave, call us up, text us, whatever. Always glad to have the input. So thank you again for your time investing. I trust that God made it worth your while. And I also ask the Holy Spirit would encourage you to kind of put into practice what it means to lead with a limp, both at work and also at home. So God will be with you as you make good forward progress. Talk to you again. Bye.